Okay, everybody, so now I have the CO2 almost ready to go. I'm just waiting for my diffusers. Starting to get a lot of the blackbeard algae in here, as you can see. These guys like to be the star of the show. The light's starting to ramp down now. This Mike Molly light I love it. Mick Molly, I keep calling him Mike Molly, it's Mick Molly. It works really good, you guys. Get yourself one. It works really good. It's just about ready to turn off. Look at the color of the plants. Like just in a few days. Like look. There's no CO2 in here. Look. You know, the other plants, it's not doing so well because it's lacking the CO2. As you can see up there. But this is what this video is about. Now, I want to show you, I got the line run clear around over for this aquarium. And I took out this and used hydrogen peroxide, 3%, as you can see, look at the color. Purple. I sprayed my plants, not all of them, but that's kind of creepy having one floating there being hung. As you can see, here's some more plants down here I sprayed. And there's some more back there. But this was starting to get out of control, and I figured I'm going to do it now. CO2 is going on tomorrow. I'm going to try to clean up. Look at that. It just looks awful. I'll probably end up pulling this rock out, taking all those pieces, or maybe just spray that and let it set and put it back in. I don't know what to do yet with that, but I'm going to put the CO2 right in back here so it'll rise up and the bubbles will get shoved back down with the waterfalls. I got some algae growing. It's what's going to happen when you get a high-powered light on the aquarium and no CO2. Oh well, we'll get her going. That's the Will's aquarium light. I have it set at about half. And the blue's just turned on. As you can see, this is the result of the light. So let's get back to the CO2. I have my line here, as you can see. Here's a line right here. It's all run, ready to go. I run it down around my TV over here, and I got the hideaway material over here. I'm going to do that clear around the entertainment center over to this tank, so I don't want anything touching it, getting hot on it or anything. So it should be fine the way it is, but I like having my cords nice and neat. This stuff here came in today, and I got this for $15.56, I think it was. I paid for this aquarium airline, and this stuff here is really thick, as you can see. Get the autofocus to focus in on that. See how thick it is? It's a little bit hard to get on the ends of your double counters, but it works. And actually, the size of this tube is oh shoot, what was it? So the inner diameter of this stuff is 4mm, and the outer diameter from here to here apparently is 6mm. And this stuff is rated for it's made in USA. I think they said 60 to 70 pounds. No, 55 psi. You can see it right there. So this is 3/16 by 5/16 max WP, 55 psi, 3/8 bar. Max temp is 150 Fahrenheit / 65 Celsius. Made in USA. And this stuff is rated for 55 psi. So, and I got this, I think I forgot to tell you, I got this for 1556 or something like that. 100 feet. You couldn't go wrong. 100 feet of that stuff. And it was a little bit sketchy getting it put on the bubble counters. As you can see there, the hard part was to get it to feed into this right here and screw it on. And I did. I got it on there, just added a little heat, and it worked perfectly. Now, I did an unboxing of this, and as you can see, it looks bent. And I was worried about it leaking CO2 right here. And I didn't have this in the packaging, but I found it eventually. It was stuck inside of the foam. Hid away. And at first, you can see in my video, when I hooked this up, this was down here rubbing against the gauge, which was no good. So it also looks bent there too, as you can see going up. I wasn't too impressed. I'm worried about this part right here. There's no leaking yet, but how long will it take? So I called the company up. Actually, sorry, I didn't call them. I sent them an email and I showed them the pictures. Showed them how crooked it was, everything was. It was missing the labeling here in the center. And at the time I thought I was missing this piece. But they told me to look in the package and it should be in there. So I went back and looked and I found it and I told them, yes, I have it here. It was hid, I didn't see it. I apologize, but they said they're still sending me out a new one. So they're going to hook me up and send me out another one of these splitters. As you can see, I got my lines all run. I have a little extra line on each tank just in case I want to be able to move my CO2 in different spots of the tank. Leave me a little extra on both tanks. Especially the one going clear over there, the other side. I needed to have extra. So the regulator is still holding that 900 pounds, just a little under 900 pounds. I'm gonna have to get a refill, but this is gonna do until I get my place, the source to refill these up. I would like to have a bigger canister or get this filled up. This tank here and 2 tanks should last me, like this 1 5-pound tank to do 2 aquariums should last me at least 6 months. I'm guessing, give or take 6 months. The 30 gallons should only need a bubble per minute. The 75 is going to probably need around 3 to 4 bubbles per minute, whereas such a big tank. But we're going to start at 1 bubble per minute on both aquariums, and I'm going to adjust accordingly. That hose needs to be cleaned. I also have something coming so I can put down through that hose to clean them hoses up. I also have these CO2 testers right here. As you can see, I got 2 of those, and the little bottles are right here somewhere. It should probably be enough there to fill them up twice. I'm gonna have to get more CO2 test solution. I think he replaced this stuff. It says add 1.5 mils of this stuff, CO2 solution, to the drop checker. So 1.5 mils to each drop checker. I probably need more of that. I think it lasts 30 days, but anyway. So I should have this all up and running tomorrow. My diffuser should be here tomorrow, and I already have my timer. There's my timer. That's the timer side on this side, and as you see, I have nothing on here going for timer. I basically, my light, the McMolly light, runs strictly on its own timer, which runs really good. You see the light still going here, it's dimming down. I have my lights set up. This one here is set up to go off at 1 o'clock. All of my lights are set to go off at 1. This one starts coming on at 4 o'clock, and by midday, 9 o'clock, it's at full peak at 50%. I had to cut back on the light intensity because it was starting to burn some of my plants. These ones here love the light. Look at the color. I'm going to group these up, but look at the color of them lights, you guys, or those plants. It looks a lot better, these plants, it does, than what's over in the 30. That Will's light doesn't seem to do any justice compared to the McMolly light. This McMolly light, if you're not careful, you don't know what you're doing, you can burn your plants. Found that out. The Columbus plants, I think you call them, they were turning brown like crazy. And, you know, these ones right here, the stem plants in the back, they're starting to turn brown. Too much light. No CO2 is not a big help. Excuse me, but we should see a big difference once we get the CO2 going. I'm starting to get black hair algae, but we should be able to correct a lot of that. Tank's dimming down some more. I've noticed a big difference in my fish too. They really like this light. There's no more quick brightness, instant right out. Like they like it. Their reactions are totally different with this light. I feed them now twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, and it won't be long. I'm gonna have to start feeding them pellets, I think. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about that. But Osmani, he's always got a beard. Getting to he's quite funny. He's always got a beard. He's getting quite big. Oh, there goes the light. So Anyway, you guys, I'm going to have the CO2 up and running tomorrow, so that video will be coming up. I did an unboxing of the regulator and everything here, so you'll be able to see that as well. The drop checkers, the bubble counters are a little different, but oh well. This bubble counter came with this regulator, and then I purchased this one with the extra adapter, which I have a spare just in case. You never know, because you might need the, parts. So it was the same price for just buying one of these bubble counters, so I bought the whole thing for the same price. There's really not too much more to talk about other than that's the name brand of that splitter, and they're taking care of me apparently, so we'll see what happens on that. I'll give you an update on that splitter. I was just going to buy a Y splitter. I come out with just a Y and hook two the dripper or bubble counters on, but I didn't like it. I got this one here cheaper than what that Y one would cost me. I think the Y one was like $30 something, and I got this one for $25. So quite a bit of money here. Just the regulator alone was $75. The bubble counter with the piece here was $13, and then this piece here was $25, and it adds up quite quickly. And then these here were $13 something for two, and then these were $12 something, which I thought that was kind of expensive. The tank I got for free from Amazon because they screwed up on my order. They had put a tank in with a heater, and it busted up my heater. There was no protection, so they sent me out a new heater and gave me that tank, which was a bonus. That tank was $90. So it's quite expensive to get into the CO2 hobby. The hose was $15 something, so we'll say $16. Two diffusers were $7 and something a piece, and there were a good review on them. They said they put out a fine mist for they were glass diffusers, and for the price, I said $7 a piece. I think it was $7.16 a piece. I said I'll get them. I also purchased the other ones are about that long. They stick to the side of your tank, and they're supposed to put out the finest mist you can get in the CO2 hobby. They're coming in December. They're take a little longer to get here, so I got these other ones for backup. Put them in my tank, and if anything ever happens to my other ones, I'll have extra CO2 diffusers. And I think I paid for the other ones were $15, almost $20 a piece. So it's a big difference from $7 a piece to $20, or almost, $20 something a piece. So there it is, you guys. There's not much more I can do with the video here, other than a lot of people are saying they had a hard time reading the gauges. I'm recording this. Can you read that gauge? What's that mean? I mean, each line is 100, ain't it? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000. So right now we're at 8,000. So we're 800 psi on my tank. I think it's in between 800 and 900. So I tested everything. I sprayed everything with soap and water. Made sure there was no leaks. I also put the pressure on the cylinder, or the regulator. I shut the tank off. I closed all valves, so the working pressure still had 50 psi, and you can read that as well. I don't understand why people say they had a hard time reading these. See? And the working pressure in this unit is always 50 psi. It never changes. That's a set pressure. I do believe you probably can set this higher if you want, but you gotta take it apart and avoid your warranty. Here's the magnetic solenoid. It slides on a bar right here. I showed you in the last video. So these are easy to replace. So all you can do is unscrew the bottom thing and this slides off, and it's just a magnetic solenoid. You can buy them anywhere. They're cheaper than what the other ones. Comes with where your bubble counter is plugged on each side of it. This type here is cheaper. It seemed to work a lot better. But that's from reviews that I've looked at. So I couldn't tell you too much more. I do know that this gets fairly warm. Other than that, I'll give you a further review on this regulator. So if you can't read the bubble counter or the regulator gauges, there's something wrong. I mean, if you're going to pay $10, $13 more for the bigger gauges, I mean, go ahead. There's no need to. There's really no need to. So, anyways, you guys, tomorrow it'll be set up. I'll do a review. We'll go over everything with you, show you how it's working, show you how I set the bubbles per minute or second. And each one of these I've already tested. Very easy to get the proper bubbles per second. It wasn't hard at all, like people were saying. From right here, just from this one to the T, both of them worked really good. So, anyways, you guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, rate, leave comments down below. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll answer them. I'll be back with more reviews on this regulator. Thank you.